Good morning out there. It is Friday, June 6th, 2025. I'm Anthony, still struggling with some sort of cold, and this is Drive Dive. So, two thoughts I wanted to share. I've been saying things, two phrases to my students a lot in the classroom this past week, and it's past couple weeks, and one has been, this can't be the world. And two is, you have to have a stronger mind. I've said those things in response to my observation that you give them a minute, right? Cell phones. They're going to go right to, some sort of, whether it's social media or a video they need to watch or a single player mobile game that they need to play, and it just boggles my mind, right? Where I've said this can't be the world where you're given any small amount of time or a longer amount of time, right? Make it 5 minutes, make it 10 minutes, right? Give them any amount of time and it's right to the phone. It's not, I don't know, it's just not something productive. I don't know. It's tough, and I see it in them, but I also see it in myself, right? I'm also kind of reflecting on my own practices where I know numerous times throughout the day I'm the same way, right? It's my lunch break. While I'm eating, I think, maybe is the difference, but I too am checking my email and scrolling through I just open a new tab and whatever, Google puts in that stream there, whatever they call it, I'm scrolling through that. I'm checking Amazon Vine to see if there are any products I'm interested in acquiring and reviewing. I'm checking YouTube Studio Analytics to see how many views I got, right? So there are definitely those things that, I'll go and check, and sometimes I'm checking my stock portfolio on, Seeking Alpha or something, right? So I have that too, but to just, and I'm trying to not do that, right? And so I think for me that having a stronger mind is more the discipline to just focus on the task at hand and, what needs to get accomplished right now. And okay, let's do that. And, nothing else, right? I'm not saying that these are, bad things, right? Social media, right? If you truly are, connecting with people, I don't know, family, friends, your followers, right? If you're doing those things, fine, great, but try to have, I think, a time and space for it, right? When you're as a kid, in school, as a student, the task at hand is to learn, man, is to, get organized when you have those few spare moments. Try to think about, okay, what's going on, next class period, the following class period, any assessments coming up tomorrow, any, homework or projects or, whatever it is. That's where our brain needs to go, I think, while we're in school. These other things of, social media and such, I think we'd all be better served if you could come up with a time and a place, to do those things, right? Just block out the chunk of time later, right? Instead of, the 5 minutes here, the 10 minutes there, block out an hour, later on, right? There's got to be a window in your day between the time you get home from school and, I don't know, maybe dinner, to do those things, right? Or maybe it's after dinner, right? Because let's say that, maybe it's after school, between the time I get home and dinner, maybe knock out my homework, right? And then after dinner, between then and whatever bedtime is and other things, then I'm sure you have plenty of time then to take care of some of those things. But I don't know. So that's what I personally, try to do or would like to be able to do, right? Where I've mentioned all of these interests and things I feel compelled to do, right? Where it's or things I need to do, right? Adulting, right? I mean, there's only so many hours in the day to get some yard work done and other chores around the house, but there's always like Lorcana, there's my homework and grading papers and stuff for work, and lesson plans, all that fun stuff, right? And I don't really mean fun stuff, but those menial tasks, but I have to get them done, right? Those are have-tos. Got to keep this job, got to support the family, those sorts of things. YouTubing, right? I mean, I was talking with my son about needing to maybe go through some of our long form videos and find those highlights and just cut those out into shorts. Well, when are we doing those things? You got to schedule, and then when you block out the time and you say you're going to do that one thing, like you do that one thing and have that stronger mind to focus on just that one thing. And so it brings me to like the argument of, well, is it possible to multitask or not? And I strongly argue it's not possible to multitask. And whether you believe we can or can't multitask, maybe the stronger argument is simply that we should not multitask. Is that if I just focus on one thing at a time, I could likely, I believe, get it done faster, get it done better, and then move on to something else and do that something else to that greater degree, right? Do it better, do it more effectively, more efficiently, etc. So that's really it. Like I said, sometimes I sit back and I go like, this can't be the world, watching everyone so, distracted all the time, or even like that Lorcana last night and talking to a guy. They're like, oh, you haven't seen this combo yet? You haven't seen this combo yet? And I looked looking dead in the eye and I said, frankly, like, I got to do. No, I haven't seen this combo. No, I haven't, read up, researched, or, watched whatever YouTube videos on this. Like, no, I got to do. So it's just interesting, and maybe that, those people, have more, might have, fewer demands on their time, or even if it's not fewer demands in total, it's, maybe less broad, right? So as I've said, like, I feel like I don't get to, it's not focus, right? It's, but I guess the things I need to do and want to do aren't so streamlined that I feel like I never, really get to dive in. It's like, if you're all about Lorcana, for example, maybe you're playing Lorcana and streaming Lorcana and, doing things like that where, and is that multitasking? Is that good for you, right? I mean, if you're not playing competitively, with somebody in front of you in a tournament type setting with a streaming video and stuff like that at the same time, you're not doing that. So I wouldn't recommend that. So I don't know. Before I continue rambling, I think that's it. It's just, focus on the task at hand. I think it's trying to maybe, right, I know we're going to have all these different thoughts and ideas and things we then want to dive into in the moment, but you got to find a way to maybe journal a little bit, or write a little note to yourself somewhere somehow. Maybe don't use your phone for those purposes, because like James Clear makes clear in Atomic Habits, just opening your phone triggers so many different behaviors that you may have started out with that intention of, getting to a sticky notes app, for example, but then as soon as you unlock your phone, well, now you're in that loop of, checking socials and checking email and checking, whatever else it is, that you do on your phone that sucks that time away, maybe a paper journal, is the way to go, a little notebook action. Jot down those thoughts and ideas, and okay, I'll save that for Tuesday night at 9 o'clock when I typically get to that specific, type of task. So it's my advice, my suggestion, something for us all to think about, is to try to, compartmentalize, break down our days, our weeks, so we don't fall into those traps of, sitting idly, in my opinion, and wasting time scrolling ourselves to death, to use another book title. Anytime we're given that spare even as much as 15 minutes. Don't unlock your phone, right? Give yourself a task. What is that task? And make sure you get it done. But that's it. Get it done. Happy Friday. Enjoy the weekend. I'll see you Monday. Please comment down below any thoughts, any other content you'd like to see, things you'd like me to talk about, whatever. Like, subscribe, share, and have a great weekend. See you Monday morning. Take care.